What's up, guys? I'm gonna try something a little different today. Today we're gonna do a homebrew video. This is a summer ale, and this is where I got it from. Home Brews and Hand Grenades. Here are the IBUs and the alcohol. That's if it's done properly. And we are going to be using a starter kit, the Homebrew starter kit by Brewcraft. And this is a list of what this kit came with. I believe it was $120, I think, for this box. But I'll show you what it comes with. It actually comes with 2 of these fermenting buckets, and I believe they're 8-gallon buckets. I have a marked in marker because you can't really see where the gallon marks are. But you get 2 of these. One actually comes with the lid and the hole for the airlock. I'll show that in a second. But you get the capper. This basically just clips onto the side of the bucket when you're transferring the beer over. Here's your airlock. Your hydrometer, which tells you your gravity levels for your original and final, which then tells you your alcohol content. You got your flowing thermometer. You got a brush, cleaning brush, the spoon. This piece right here is for when you bottle. And you have a racking cane, which basically transfers all your beer from bucket to bucket. And then I also have this 22-quart pot. Alright, let's take a look at what comes in the kit. Basically, this is like $37 for this kit. Instructions, which are very easy to read. No, nothing on the back, it's just all in the front. And then it tells you stuff that you're going to need and what you recommended that you get. You got that. Over here. Oh yeah, here's the other bucket I have. It also comes with a bottle of Starch Sand also, so you can sanitize everything. Okay. You got a bag of steeping grains. Then you also have, this is your malt. You have 2 separate bags. These are 2 different types. You know, one's a wheat malt and the other one's a light malt. Then you have a bag of hops. You also have bottle caps for bottling. Your yeast. Here is the steeping bag for the grains. Your priming sugar. And this is also a bottle of liquid malt. Now, I saw this on another video, but the best way to use this before you actually add it to what they call your wort, leave it in hot water so it actually makes it, warms it up and makes it thinner, so it's easy to put into the pot while you're adding it to it. And that's basically the box itself. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so here we go. What I have in the pot right now is about, the instructions say go like 2 to 3 gallons. I put about 2.5 gallons in there, just right in the middle. This is the grains in the extract bag, and what I'm going to do is put it in the water. Once the water reaches 170 degrees, I'm then going to take it out, so that's going to take a few minutes. So basically what I'll do is I'll turn the oven on high, and where's that clip? But I'll use this to actually, just hold the bag to the side for now. And what you want to do also is leave the bag loose so that the water can actually go through the grains and extract all the sugars and all that good stuff that you find in beer. Alright, on to the next step. Alright, right now I have hot water in the sink, and I have the bottle of liquid malt in there to heat it up a little bit, so when you add it to the pot, which the liquid inside is now called wort since you are extracting, and you can see the color difference already. Wish you could smell it. It actually smells pretty good. But once you add this, it'll actually be a lot easier to add when you heat it up into that pot. So that's what's happening there. And right now we are at about, I don't know if you can actually see that, but with the glare, right now we're about 90 degrees. So once it hits 170, we'll pull the bag out and we'll add our malt. Alright, so what we're going to do now is, because the thermometer is about 170, which is our target temperature, what we'll do is we will remove the grain bag and just basically let it drain out. And then what we'll do after that is let it come to a boil, and then we get to add our malts in. And I'll show you that in just a few minutes once this boils. Alright. Now, as you can see, everything has been, the wort has been brought up to a boil. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our malt. And first thing you do is you turn off the heat. And now we'll get the bottle that I put in the sink. We'll add that, and then you just basically stir it in. If I can open this stupid thing, it would be nice. Alright, we have our sanitized spoon, and now just add the malt. Just keep stirring it in. And as you can see, by heating it up, actually made it a little bit easier to mix in. And what you want to do is you want to get everything out of it. So what I wind up doing now is I'll add a little bit of water to it, add some hot water to it, shake it up, and then pour the rest of it in while that's still mixing. Right, now what you also want to do is add your dry malt in, which we have one bag of the Bavarian wheat, and we have a bag of the Pilsen Light. Same thing, just mix and stir. Then I just cut the bag open and add it all in. Same thing, just gotta keep stirring the stuff. Keep mixing. As you can see, it's like crystal. It's actually starting to crystallize right there. That's one bag. Make sure I get all of it out and in there. Bag number one. And this is bag number two. Alright, now we got both of these mixed in, all three of the malts, the 2 bags of dry and the jar of liquid. What we're going to do is keep stirring it for like another minute or two, just to make sure everything has dissolved in it. Wish you could smell this. It actually smells really good. My wife can't stand the smell of this stuff. That's why she's not home when I'm doing this, so I don't have to hear her scream, yelling at me about how it stinks in here. It's a hell of a lot easier when you do it outside, especially on a nice summer day. I just don't have the equipment to do it outside, so I have to do it on my stove. Okay. That should be good. I mean, I don't feel anything on the bottom. So now what we're going to do is bring this back up to a boil, and then once it starts to boil again, we will add our hops and start the 60-minute countdown. Alright, now that the water is back up to a boil, we're going to add our first addition of hops and then begin the 60-minute timer to count down. Basically what I did was I just split them in half for 5 ounces, you know, to add it up. So we'll see what happens. And then when you add the hops, sometimes you may have what they call a boil over, which you can see that what is actually doing right now. And if it does continue to rise, all I'll have to do is just basically turn the heat off. And now we start our 60 minutes, and then at the last 10 minutes we'll add the rest of these bad boys. Alright, we got about maybe 15 minutes left. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the wort chiller ready. Basically what that is, it's a copper coil tube that you put in the wort to cool it down. You run cold water through it. Kind of works like a radiator type of a deal. You want to get it down to like 70 degrees so you can get your wort down and ready to pinch your yeast. Yeah, I said pinch your yeast. And then I'll dump that in there now, so it basically kind of sanitizes it while it's going. And then I'll add the hops at 10 minutes. Alright, as you can see, I got the wort chiller in the wort right now. I just made a homemade one. I mean, you can buy them online. They're about like $50–$60, depending on what you get. I had some old copper, you know, this old flexible copper tubing that I had. So basically, I just kind of curled it up as best as I can, and just took some regular hose with some hose clamps and put it on there. I mean, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. You know, if I ever decide to brew like 10-gallon batches, then, you know, I'll get a bigger one. But for now, this will do the job just perfectly. And now we're just waiting a couple more minutes to put the last bit of hops in. Alright, it's 10 minutes left, so now we're going to add the last bit of hops. Like I said, I added half of this earlier. Now I'm going to add the other half now, and watch it foam up. Or not. Surprisingly it didn't. Oh, wait, there it goes. Now I'll just wait another 10 more minutes and then we'll chill it down. Alright, as you can see, I got the wort chiller hooked up. Got it hooked up to the hose, goes in this way, up, circles around and around and around, comes back up and out, and then comes out this way. Just like that. This should take about maybe 10–15 minutes. After that, once it gets down to about 80 degrees, we'll go back inside and pinch our yeast, and then we'll take our gravity reading. Alright, so now we're going to take the wort and put it in a fermenting bucket. Right now I have 2 gallons of cold water in there, and there should be roughly 3 gallons in the pot. If there isn't 5 gallons by the time, you know, the two are combined, I'll just fill the rest up with some water, and then we'll go from there and get it all set up for the yeast. Right now the thermometer is at about 80 degrees, which is what we want. And the water to it. Alright. Now we'll let that set up, and I'll get the stuff ready to take a reading. Alright, so here's the sample of what we just brewed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hydrometer. These numbers right here basically will tell you the gravity content. You have like, you know, you got like 9.990, and then it goes to, you know, 1.000 all the way down through. Then that one says 1.050, and you got the 1.1. What we're looking for on this, once I put it in, is a 1.042. So what you want to do is this: just dip it in there, spin it so that it, you know, hopefully stay off the side. And then the reading you want to take is roughly right where it's above the water. Not the water, the actual beer itself. So obviously I can't see it. Let's just spin it one more time just to make sure. And right now that looks like, look, we'll stop facing me. Okay, try that again. Like right there, it's just above the 40, which is 2 lines down under it, so that's a 42. And then, like I said, that's one right there, so we're right where we should be. And then once this is all said and done, the final gravity I think is a 1.010. So, which means that this thing should be sitting right down to there, which, if the paper is correct, gives us a 4.7 alcohol content. Well, we'll soon find out. Alright, I got the lid sanitized, so what we'll do is we'll just put the lid on real quick. Is you just want to, you know, shake it up a little bit. Let's get some air in there. Okay. Take that back off. This is the type of yeast you'll be using for this. And you're supposed to sanitize everything with it, including the bag itself and the scissors that you use. So, like that. Just sprinkle it in. That's it. Put a cover back on. Make sure it's all nice and tight. And now, get our airlock ready. So basically just take some of the sanitizing solution that you had. You fill it up to look just like that. And now you stick it in there like that. And the worst part about this is now you gotta wait 2 weeks before you can even bottle it. But what they recommend also is after the first week of fermenting, put it in a secondary fermenter, because you're going to get like all the rest of the hops that were in there and the yeast caking on the bottom. Once you transfer it into another bucket, it's supposed to be a nice cleaner taste, and we're gonna take it from there. See you in a week when I show you how to transfer from a fermenting bucket to the secondary fermenter.